It's a big interview, and we'll know that definitely you also want to be asking your questions and, you know, all the things that you need to know. So continue sending your messages and getting engaging with us. But today, on our big interview, like I said, this is a very, very, very important person in our country. He is an established and a very accomplished businessman. He's a military officer, who now I want to refer to him as a captain. And he's gracious enough to allow us here into his, residence, and we're here to have a conversation with him. So please, let me introduce you to my guest on a big interview here on Prime Morning. As the man, the one and only Prince Kofi Amoabeng, and I'm sure those of you who know the UT story and have been part of that conversation, you already know that this is a man who indeed has done a lot of sacrifices and has done a lot in terms of business models here in the country. It's a pleasure to have you here on the show, and thanks for allowing us into your space.
You're very welcome, and I'm surprised that you're daring enough to come in here.
I know. Well, I mean, as a captain, I'm sure that we'll be safe and protected. So yeah.
Yeah, I'm really happy that you're here, and I hope that you keep coming.
Okay.
If you find the interview interesting, and I think I have a message also to leaders, Ghanaian leaders, young leaders, up-and-coming leaders. So maybe we can talk about that.
Yeah. Great. Now, I want to start it from this angle. I mean, if we look at your story, it's quite an incredible one. You've built business. You've led, many other young people into believing that their dreams are also valid and all of that. If there's one thing that you want to talk about in terms of our country, you'd probably say that we have a lot of resources, but of course, leadership is always the issue. In 2026, where we are right now, if you look at the entire country and how we're doing things, do you think that we still have that leadership problem?
It's gotten worse. It's getting worse. Actually, the trend is horrible. That is why I'm very much concerned, and we have to try and do more. It's leadership in institutions, leadership in businesses, leadership especially in politics, and it's generally everywhere, and also not Ghana specific. It's an African issue, and it's all because of the kind of mindset we have. And when I say mindset, it encompasses our upbringing. In fact, even grandparenting, which is now non-existent, and parenting, which is also falling apart somehow. School systems, which is been diluted and is very poor in certain places. Peers play a role. Education does a lot. And then learning and skill sets and things like that. But the culture of the people, ourselves, is the biggest thing. When I say mindset, I mean the way we are brought up to be very docile. We're brought up to be detest success. We have too much enviness. We have no respect for time. We don't have any respect for institutions. We always want to intervene with the systems and processes. So we have a lot to do to change the mindset of especially the young leaders who are coming in entrepreneurship and everywhere. Otherwise, we cannot develop. We'll be making attempts at it, but see, the problem is that growth will always happen because we are reproducing. It's a matter of development, catching up and beating growth if we want to really see the real effect. But from my experience, from my childhood, growth is outpacing development so that we're going backwards. And it's not only in Ghana, but virtually the whole of Africa. And it's all because of the mindset of the leaders. The greed, the selfishness, the myopic view we look at things, lack of love for people, lack of love for systems and processes, and unless we change that, our situation will get worse, and it's actually getting worse.
Interesting. Now, when it comes to business, you built an extremely Ghanaian business model that many people watch it and were proud of it because it was a Ghanaian doing it and doing it the right way. Unfortunately, you also watched the system crash the entire, empire that you built. If you're looking at what we're seeing right now, ethically, you think that it's possible for a Ghanaian to be able to go through that route that you went through again and make it happen?
Right from the onset, I had a lot of enemies. Yes. UT was, or Unit Trust was a company that was feared and disliked because of the way we were collecting our debt. They wouldn't understand why, if somebody is owing and he's not paying, we have to go to their house in the evening. But the point is that we want to love our sleep as well. But we're only going there because we have to protect the monies of the investors. And Ghanaians even didn't understand that. And then, surprisingly enough, in the early days, we almost closed down during the Kufuor era. Bank of Ghana had decided to close us down. We were able to fight it through, and then we were not closed down, and we grew to become even bigger. So when you're doing well, it's a different story. People should want to know why you're doing well or who are your connections and your network. Here was UT where I wasn't doing politics, I wasn't doing chieftaincy, I wasn't doing church pastoral things. It was just about building a system with the people and creating the kind of values, systems, and respecting the policies and things which made us progress. But then politicians don't like that. And in fact, even pastors don't like that. They want to know they own you, because if they don't own you, then somebody else is owning you. So it's difficult, and you have to really navigate. And I guess UT came down eventually because I failed in that field of being in bed with politicians and being in bed with pastors and being in bed with chiefs and things like that. So these are the powers that be, whether you like it or not. In our system, it's not about doing what is right, but who you go to bed with. And therefore, like you're saying that it was a great company, it was a good indigenous company. You take even me out of it. For a company that was started with 3 people in Kantamantu, and we grew to own a bank and have properties and logistics and have footprints in Nigeria and South Africa, and it was clear for everybody to see. I think it's a good story which we have spread on some of the youth to say that, look, let's follow the blueprint. Yeah, exactly. But well, we were running into difficulties because the people that we trusted were Ghanaians with the wrong mindset. So right inside UT, especially when we expanded and became a bank, we had all sorts of people coming in who were brought up differently. They had different cultures that came to the company. Some were even raw thieves. Some were conniving with which was against our culture. Yeah. But when we saw it, it had caused so much damage. We also had other issues. It wasn't only culture. We had issues with our processes because we became a bank and things like that. But in all, I think it's a company that the government could have saved to be a blueprint of how to grow a business from small to what we became. But of course, I think that it was short-sighted, like, Amoabeng become too big, and then this, and he does it. And interestingly enough, after UT, things that has unfolded shows that it was raw hatred from some people in the NPP at the time, and actually were earmarked, or I was targeted as early as 2012, before the NPP government even came to power. But for me, it's about Ghana, and I don't hate anybody. I don't bear grudges. So whatever has happened has happened. It's probably for the good of the nation. So I've accepted it and moved on to see what I can do with my experience in my life.
Knowing what you know right now, if you had the opportunity to run it all over again, would you have made a decision now that I know better? If I have to succeed with this, I need to make sure that I make these politicians part of my life, I make these pastors part of my life. Would you have run it differently? Or you still go through the same process?
I'm Kofi Amoabeng. And even knowing what I know, I don't think I would have gone to the politicians to try and give them money, because I was doing what was right, and that is me.
But it also had to be your convenience. You needed to make sure you progress with the company. You needed to make sure that you succeed. And they were the problem.
Yeah, but doesn't mean I have to be in bed with them and align with them when I don't believe in what they're doing for the people? Because the thing is about the country. I'm not blaming them. You see, it's easy when you're not in politics for you to criticize the politicians. I've come to understand that they have to do some of the things that they are doing because it's necessary. Because it takes too much money to come into power. And when you come, you have to pay. And how do you pay? You have to really put your people in the right positions. You have to make sure some contracts with your own people to pay. So the system is such that you cannot even blame the politicians. You cannot even blame the corruption in the system. In fact, if anything worries me, it's the size of it. Nowadays, when you hear people who have stolen money, we are not talking 1 million. I mean, you ask yourself, why? Exactly. Yeah. Ghana is a very resilient country. With all this corruption, Ghana still survives. You know, so I understand. Or we have to give room to other people. They could do it in a more refined way or something. But that is another thing. I mean, we don't have any control over it. What we have control over is to try and create leaders with a different mindset. Leaders who have a love for people, love for country. Leaders who are a bit selfless. And leaders who know that the world is not about you, it's about what you can do for the world or your country. And leaders who are God-fearing. So the Bible says, love thy neighbor as thyself. How much do you need, really, to lead a decent life? It's not about how much you have. It's about how you acquire honestly and how you use what you have to impact lives and leave a legacy. It's so difficult for people to realize that because all that you acquire, you know you're going to leave everything. So why do it? What do you want it for? And people will take all these monies, put them outside the country, or put them in properties, or put them in vintage cars. What's that? Because then the money is not there to actually change lives, change the school system, improve the education, make the roads good, and make the hospitals deliver. The monies are being stolen and put in and actually put in a static situation. Because you put it in building, or you put it outside the country, you're taking the country's money and put it outside. So we're trying to bring up people who understand the world, who know the purpose for which you're here, or understand that they're here to actually impact the world and make it a better place for people. And they do things honestly and fearlessly. And those are the kind of leaders that we're trying to create. Because if we have that in our corporate institutions, in entrepreneurship, in politics, in churches, in chieftaincy, what have you, they can cause a change. Because a change will certainly have to come from leadership. It can't come from anywhere. I hear people saying, the people must change. No. Leadership must change the people. Leadership will give the power to the leaders, and they must use the laws and institutions and the resources that are at their disposal to change people. The average person will probably want to pee anywhere he wants, will want to probably rape a woman, or if there are no laws to be enforced. So it's all about leadership. So we have to tackle the problem from the top.
Okay. Speaking about that, loyalty and competence also becomes another problem here. As a military officer, how do you think we can solve that problem of going into loyalty when we can be doing competence?
Question. It's a difficult question, a good one. As I was saying, to come into leadership, let's say the leadership of the country, as in the party that is in power, you need so much money. And I did the back of the envelope calculation. You need at least 1 billion cedis to become president.
It's a lot.
And even for MP, you probably need about 5 million or 2 million cedis to become MP or something like that. Now, so when the government comes to power, they owe so much, and then we hand over the country to them. They must pay. And to pay, it must come from the country's coffers. So what they do is that maybe they and you realize that every aspect of our life has been politicized. The security forces, the judiciary, the ministries, of course. The parties come to power, they change all the heads and appoint all board members. Last check, the appointments alone that President has approved is over 6,000. So they put their people there so that contracts will be given to their people to pay off their debts. And they need to pay. Yeah. So they have to give to people that are loyal to them. The people who have been in the trenches with them, they understand the debts that they owe, and therefore they will play the ball. I mean, if you can't put Kofi Amoabeng in a very powerful situation, you will have to sack me. And I know they won't even give me any appointment. You know, because I will not play ball. Yeah. And if they appoint somebody who has the merit or the qualification, if the person doesn't play ball, they will get rid of the person. So they only put you there because you have the qualification, but they will not allow you to do what you think is right. Because if you do that, how do they pay their debt? So we are in a really catch-22 situation. So it's not about loyalty versus merit. It's about loyalty. And even if you have the merit, you must be loyal. And that is the way it is. They could do it better, but I see some of the appointments and some of their appointees, what they do in public, and I'm saying at least they should hide it because it's painful. It's like not applying grease at the right time. You know, apply a bit of grease so that it's not too painful. But when they rub it into our very fabric and everything, and in our own eyes as if they don't care, that is what is painful. But I think if you take this government, it's a bit better. They're achieving something. For example, the macroeconomic indicators are all looking very, very positive. But the people's mindset, they are looking for short-term gains. They are not investing long-term because they think the situation may not stay for a long time. So everything comes to the mindset of the people. Where people will say that, okay, fine, this is what we have. What do we do to make sure that we sustain it? Because we cannot sustain it if we are not getting production and people are not getting jobs and things. We can't sustain these good macroeconomic indicators. So it's all about leadership and what we do. But to your question of loyalty versus merit, it's a difficult one because the political dispensation that we have, as in one man, one vote, democracy, I don't think can ever get us out of our mess.
That's dangerous. More so you have politicians or maybe leaders, let me put it that way, now have to subscribe to fear instead of telling truth to people that this is what it is, because there's the fear of losing power. There's the fear of also losing votes and all of that. That also come into the play right now. How do we try as much as possible to live beyond just looking at the fact that I need to fear votes from one individual to be able to do the right thing?
I think we're talking the same thing, that the one man, one vote restricts people from doing exactly what is right or saying what is painful and the right thing to do. Because what do people expect? When it's election time, it's payday time. And the delegates are happy and the voters are happy, but it's very short-sighted. And then you take whatever you want to take from the politicians and hand over power to them. And of course, they have to go and pay back. So, yes, they cannot tell them the truth and they cannot act even long-term. They must meet their short-term expectations.
It means that we have a very difficult situation at hand right now, but we never can get better.
I can't see it getting better, but we try and train some leaders with a different mindset, and hopefully when they get into office or get into certain positions, then they can probably change a little bit what's happening.
That brings my conversation to the courts, which is something that you're putting together. Where have we got into right now, and how did we begin this?
Well, interesting. Now you touched the raw nerve. Now the cohorts, we are at the end of the third cohort, and we are actually closing selection of the application for the fourth cohort by the middle of next month, September. Now, the first three cohorts, we chose 20 people, and it was very difficult because we chose 20 people out of thousands. This year, we want to, I don't like anything which is static. We want to probably take about 30 people. We also introduced something, not because we needed the money per se. We said if you are interested, you pay application, non-refundable application fee of 100 cedis. It helps with the selection. It also helps in the sense that you are serious about it. Because some people are taken and then they don't even come, and then they cause people to lose their position. People are more serious. And free things people don't respect. So for those who want to apply, the 100 CDs is just to show that you're serious, and it will help with the elimination or selection of the people. And it also assures us that you really are serious to go through this. And like the previous cohort, it still gives you a bit of military training, and then the boot camps.
Asking why we're taking civilians to the military. What exactly is the mindset with that?
Because, I'm trying to create people along my path. Okay. What really made me where I am as a good leader and an officer and a gentleman for that and all those things, it's basically because I joined the military, and the military changed me. So I'm taking people along that path. So I introduce you to military training, special package military training for just about a week, and then we have boot camps, and we'll give you a mentor, and we have engagements and field trips and all sort of things packaged within one year. And I tell you, I sleep better because I talk to these cohorts, and their mindset is beautiful. Those are the kind of things we want as people move into leadership positions. And what we've even done recently is that we've even gone down a notch. Now we've had sessions with SHS students. We were entitled it after SHS, What Next? So that's another flagship program that we have for SHS, because we believe that the mindset is set at that stage when you are in secondary school. And so apart from the cohort that are people who are finished university and were working on this, we now come down to SHS. It's all about building mindset at the right time. So we're doing a lot more as we can. Of course, we are limited with funds and resources, and therefore we need people to support, people who see what we see and the vision of changing the mindsets of future leaders for this country, to change the way they think, the love they should have for people and for their country. And the world is about, it's funny how the world is not about you. You need to develop yourself, but you develop yourself to be able to impact the world. I'll tell you something even funny. You work hard and buy the most expensive perfume. It's not about you. If it's about you, why don't you put it in your house and just smell it by yourself? You put it on you when you're going to the public for people to smell. So if your perfume is not about you, so people should understand that you come into the world with nothing. You're going to go out with nothing, but you must strive and achieve something and use whatever you achieve to change the world to be a better place, and do it honestly. And that is what we're trying to get our leaders to understand.
Great stuff. And so the cohort is out there, and I'm sure that those of you who have gone through it and those who intend to go through it, you know exactly what to expect. This side, when you come, you have to, first of all, work on your mindset before you start thinking about becoming a part of this man's leadership, because it's a different game altogether. But we have to go, but before that, if your younger self is watching you right now and all that you have accomplished and all that you have gone through, what would you say to that younger self?
Well, I think we're all put into this world with a purpose. So even though we come to the world with nothing, we're supposed to have some values which are given to us through our parents and our schools and our experiences. And I think mine has been something that I'm humbled about. Because for a young man born in Bososo and a Kukrantumi boy, and to be able to actually create a company that at its peak employed directly over 2,500 people and was worth millions of dollars, I think it's a good story, and I've played my part. But the point is that you don't have to always achieve great things. Whatever you achieve, make sure you achieve it honestly, because the real effect of it is probably about 100, 200 years away. If my mother had not been honest and educated with the right values, I wouldn't have done what I did. So really, I'm a legacy of my mother. And therefore, whatever you want to do, do it right, and do it with the right mind and the right values, the right intention, and you would have served your purpose. The rest is for God to really continue with what you've done. So I'm happy that I did a bit. It doesn't make me better than anybody. I only did what God wanted to use me to do, and I'm glad about it. And I need to leave a strong legacy, a legacy of leaders who will change the narrative for Ghana and for Africa. Let me tell you something. One thing is that when UT was collapsed, everybody said, oh, don't worry, you bounce back, you bounce back. Now, bounce back means you get your bank back. I sat down and I decided, listen, it's not about bouncing back, it's about bouncing forward. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create leaders who are better than me. And if I'm able to create such leaders, about 50 of them, those 50 people will create their own UT stories. So I'm creating better UT stories and more of UT stories than sticking to just UT Bank.
You're 74. If you're 80, if you're 80, what is that one thing that you look at yourself at 80 and say, I couldn't make this happen, but I want to make it happen at 80?
Well, I think I finally landed on my purpose. At 80, I want to be as I am, fit and healthy and happy. And then I want to say that, okay, fine, if at 74 we had about 80 cohorts, and who we call ambassadors, Kofi Amoabeng ambassadors, at 80, I think we should have thousands of them, because my aim is actually to eventually have an academy, and the academy will be churning out such potential leaders, a lot of them. That is what I think I want to have.
If we hand over the presidency of Ghana to you at 80, would you accept it?
Well, I'll be too old. But what do you mean hand over? You don't hand over.
Hypothetically, if we all decide that as a country we're giving you the presidency of Ghana at 80.
You know, the problem is, even with the UT that I founded, I had actually told everybody I was going to go out at the age of 60, because 60 was the retiring age. At 80, I think
I think an opportunity to make a difference at that age, and we decide that as a country we're giving to you to serve Ghana.
Since it's hypothetical, I'll say yes.
In your office, what's the first thing you do if you enter the Jubilee House as the president of Ghana?
Well, have a meeting with everybody and tell them that it's a new order.
It's a new order.
It's a new order. We love everybody. We respect everybody. We have a job to do. We outline the job and we get on with it. And no special treatment. It's a matter of you do what the people expect and serve the people honestly. But of course, if you go with baggage, then you can't do what you're supposed to do. But since it's hypothetical, yes, I could change this country. It doesn't take much to change this country if you have the right leader. So everything that happened, like the few countries that are making it, like Singapore, like even what do you call it, Rwanda, Malaysia, Korea, it's all through one person. It's fine enough, it comes from the leader. And the leader, in the sense of a country, is the leader at the top. With other institutions, the person who is leading the company. And the kind of culture that they have. And the culture should start with the leader. You know, let me tell you something. Something as small as saving time. You know, if you want to develop, you must have the heart and mind of saving time. That's it. Save time in everything that you do. Because when you say a country is developed, it means that country has perfected the art of saving time for its citizens. Good roads, good transport system, bullet trains, airports, good health system, the health delivery system, education, deep, valuable education. That is it. Now, the problem with Africa is that, and I don't want to go too far, the problem with Africa is that we are perfecting the art of wasting time. If you look at our funerals and our meetings and the time we used to go, but so we are going the opposite direction.
Yeah.
If we will get awake and say that, listen, from now on, it's all about saving time with everything that we do, then the people, if we can turn their mind around like that, then we can start thinking of development. So we need to fix our roads. We don't have to spend 7 hours Accra to Kumasi. We have to fix our hospital. You don't have to spend all your time when you're sick. You have to fix education and get quality education so you can pass out early. You have to have your airlines. You have to everything. And it should be, see, I don't understand when people sit in public office and you want to even see them, and it can take 2 months seeing a minister. You are sitting in a public office, our office.
You have too much on your hands. There's a lot of work to do.
Now, the bank that I created and I was the founder, people didn't need appointment to see me. You come, and if there's nobody, you walk straight. My secretary will tell you he's there. That is my...
How did you operate something like that?
It's easy.
Because you have many people coming on a daily.
You come, I listen to your problem, I call whoever is the head of the department or somebody want to know, and I say, take the guy away or see this guy and let me know what happens. I don't have to solve all the problems. Why did I engage them? And it's transparent dealing. But it's only when you want to do some deals, or then you want to keep the business and so. But you should run a system which is transparent. Everybody knows what to expect and what they should get. And why they shouldn't get it. It's not about, oh, this one is my father's nephew, and this one is from my chief's parish, this one is a church member, this is so and so forth, this is my party. No, let's run an open, ideally. But as I said, when you have paid so much money to get to that position, you cannot run it like that. So we have a problem. Back to where we started from. We do have a problem. And we cannot, with our current political dispensation, have a leader who can be that transparent and run everything and report for all of us to know what it is.
Some people think that the former president, who is also the president now, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, has done better when it comes to that. He's been very transparent with the people.
Well, he's been better, but how transparent? He can't be transparent. He cannot be. He's not transparent. He cannot be transparent in his appointments. For example, he appoints who he thinks will run the show for him better. Nobody questions his appointments. It's not done by vote. So yes, he's been better than previous leaders, some of the previous leaders. But how transparent can he be? And we don't blame him. He must appoint people who are loyal to his cause and who probably can help him achieve what is promising Ghanaians. But we are lucky that we have him, but I don't think we can solve the problems of Ghana during his reign, during his term of office. It's not possible. If we have somebody coming after him with the same ideals and things like that, then we can move step by step towards it. But at the moment, we're in deep trouble.
We're in deep trouble at the moment. Before you leave me, what do you do? Or I leave you. what do you do to relax your mind? There's a lot going on. There's one thing I'm hoping that I can do with you one day. I think I'll find time and then see how we can play golf together. I love golf.
I play golf, and apart from that, I'm thinking of how to build new generation of leaders who can change the narrative for Ghana and Africa. And people ask me, what's the impact of what you're doing? Do you really believe that you can get leaders? I said, yes. It's a matter of, think about it this way, you're casting your bread upon the waters. And then I also think about a situation where somewhere in the Bible, Sodom and Gomorrah, God said, if you can give me one good person, I will spare the city. Yeah. So we need some leaders that God can use if he wants to change the narrative of this country. If we don't have good leaders with a good mindset, trained and things, because we have a lot of knowledgeable people, but about the values that they have, the values tend to be wrong. And you need people with the right values and right ethics, as I've narrated, the love for people, God-fearing, working honestly, and being people of integrity, and not thinking about themselves and being short-sighted, but thinking about the general good. Because when Jesus Christ came to the world, his parents or his family went to see him, and he told them, I didn't come for you, I came for the world. And we didn't come for our own families and our own churches and our own communities. We came for Ghana and for Africa and for the world.
Captain, thank you so much for...
It's my pleasure. KMZ, it's my pleasure. Yeah? Nice to see you.
So much. And that's Captain Prince Kofi Amoabeng, and he was gracious enough to make us spend some time here at his residence, talking about the things that he believes in and what we can all do together as a people to change Mother Ghana. And I love the fact that his perspective is not just about Mother Ghana, but the African continent as a whole. And you and I have that responsibility. But of course, that has been our big interview here on Prime Morning. My name is KMJ. The National Science and Maths quiz is getting to crescendo. A lot of things happening on there, and we're bringing you some updates on that right here on Prime Morning. Do stay.